Jeff Powell from Recoverfast. I'm here with professional fitness coach Taylor Epperson. We're going to talk a little bit about the thoracic spine and its role in getting good rotation. So Taylor, let me have you go ahead and turn around here. So when we're talking about the thoracic spine, we're talking about basically the bottom of the neck down to the top of the low back. So it's this area in your spine that we're talking about. Most people talk about low back or cervical spine. There's a lot more mobility at those areas, and a lot of times those areas are where we suffer damage. What we don't talk about is the need for mobility at the thoracic spine. So the thoracic spine, if it's immobile, if the joints between the vertebrae are not operating properly, then we're going to lose function through the scapula, through the shoulder. We'll also lose function through the neck, and our low back becomes more susceptible. If we lose mobility here, we have to pick it up somewhere else. So if we lose mobility here, we may have to regain it in the neck. If we lose mobility here, we may have to regain it in the shoulder. If we lose mobility here, we may have to regain it in the low back. And so that can put those structures under undue stress. I'm going to have you turn back around now. So something else that mobility of the thoracic spine assists with also is breathing. So take a big deep breath in for us. Okay, so as Taylor breathes in, his ribs expand. Okay, if the thoracic spine is tight, if it's inflexible, if it can't get good extension, then Taylor's ribs won't open up easily. Okay, they may be limited in their mobility, they may not open up easily, so it's going to affect endurance, it's going to affect power, and it's also going to set him up for rib injuries. Okay, if you have a stiff rib cage, you're more likely to have injuries to the ribs. So let's do something about that. Okay, so Taylor's going to demonstrate using the foam roller to help improve mobility in the thoracic spine. We've already talked about why we need that mobility. And so first thing, what we're going to talk about is where we don't want to put the foam roller. Right now he has it on his neck. We don't want to foam roll the neck. Okay. Another place we don't want to foam roll is the low back, and we won't bother with him going there. We'll just show you where you do want to roll. So right now Taylor has positioned the foam roller underneath his thoracic spine. He's supporting his head with his hands. He's going to lay his head back, close his elbows, and then he's going to raise his hips up. Okay, that's going to add the pressure that we need in order to mobilize the thoracic spine, and then he's going to start a very slow roll. Okay, a lot of people like to do this roll fast, but when we roll fast, the muscles tend to tighten up in order to stabilize and resist, and so we're not going to get the mobility we need. And as he goes further, he may have to walk his feet back. He may need to put his hips down to do that. He's just going to work his way back nice and slow, feeling for the tension in the low back. He's going to roll back forward. Okay, and so as the roller puts pressure on the thoracic spine, it's asking those vertebrae to mobilize. Okay, now he's going to do something a little different on this one. He's going to open his elbows out, again lay his head back, and he's just going to roll straight back, keeping his hips up to make sure he's getting good pressure into the thoracic spine. Okay, now as he's rolling, he's checking in his mind, he's thinking, what spot feels the most tender? And so when he gets to that spot that's the most tender, he's going to sit on that spot, he's going to put his hips on the ground, and then he's going to lay back and really work to open his elbows out. Okay? And so now in this position, he's asking for extension from the thoracic spine. And he might tag a couple of different spots as tight, and so he might do this at a couple of different spots to come out. He brings his head up and then brings his hips up and goes and finds another spot. Each spot you might spend 20 to 30 seconds on, and you might spend a couple of minutes doing the foam roll. You can get good benefit even with just a minute on this though. So, have fun.